All right, we're back with Coach for another spring update. Implementing all kinds of stuff. We're getting deep into it now. Overall, what's your overall impression of spring ball to this point?
Well, I'm really pleased how the guys have digested playbook. Number one, some of the mistakes that we were making early on aren't repeating themselves, so that's a sign of a little more mature football team. Some new mistakes pop up at times, but a lot of that's young players. So my assessment right now is I'm really proud of them. They're working hard. And I think we're getting better. We're getting better one practice at a time, just like we aim for. And as we culminate this thing in practice 13 and 14 in the next 2 days, leading up to the spring scrimmage on Saturday, they should be playing their best ball at that last point. We're not going to hold a lot of guys out for the spring scrimmage this year. We're going to let them play a little bit because there's still some positions to be won.
Some of those positions, let's talk about your pass catchers, tight ends, and wide receivers. A lot of guys coming back that saw some action last year, so that helps, especially with a younger quarterback, but he's got experience too. So there should be some meshing that works well with these groups, right?
Yeah, there has been, and even the new faces that were redshirted last year have interjected themselves into the offense in a very good way. And I think our quarterbacks are getting better at understanding spacing and where the ball needs to go. And now we just got to finish on being a playmaker and go make catches. Games are won and lost by making plays when there is some contention and there is a guy in your face, what have you. And we need to do a better job of closing those situations out here in the next two practices because we got some guys that can get it done.
On the wide receiver side, who stands out for you? There's a couple guys coming back that caught some passes last year. Any of those guys jumping out or anybody else really pushing?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited. Nickel Myers came back from, he got hurt in game 3, I believe it was, last year, and then was out the rest of the season. Was really showing flashes of doing some great things. I think Nickel's had a super spring. He really is. Consistency is what he needs to grow upon, but he's a playmaker, an exciting player to watch. So I'm really pleased with Nickel's spring so far, and again, keep him committed to competing every play, and if he does that, he's going to be exceptional. I also look at we've had some guys out throughout the spring. Sean Engel was out throughout the spring, a transfer force that came in. Jake Walsheimer's been out with a hamstring. Drew Reinschmidt's been out with some ribs, so it gave some opportunities for a bunch of other guys to play. And another guy that's really shined is Madden Pecula, a young man that was redshirted from Gillette, Wyoming this past season. Slot wide receiver, has really had an excellent camp and is doing some really good things and is going to get some action on the field to show that. And then some other guys that we need fall camp yet to see if they can prove themselves and how they're going to grow. Connor Jackson shows flashes at times. He had a little bit of tendonitis for a bit, but then comes out and has some aggressive plays that a 6'4", 6'5" kid should be making. And then there's the others. Brett Shepley has been steady and doing great things at the wideout position as well. So I'm excited. There's others that need to be proven yet, but I like the competition that's happening in that group.
Tight end wise, Chet Pierenboom was healthy for most of the season. He went down a little bit late. He's back, he's good, and who's pushing him or who's stepping up on tight end side?
Yeah, and we rely on our tight ends pretty heavily. Unfortunately, Chet broke his foot in game 6 or 7 last year. Has fully recovered and is having a great spring. Senior leader for us, and really is one of those mainstays of our offense that rallies guys around him to play at another level. Got such a great, easy demeanor about him. But I expect Chet to have an all-conference type of year. I really do. And behind him, you look at Anthony Carmazin. Anthony played some snaps for us last year. Long, thin tight end at times, but he's gained weight. He's up to 215, 220, and really an aggressive player. Has had an excellent spring. He's played as good as he's played this spring. Knock on wood, he continues to get better. Then we have Jacob Cleveringa, a redshirt freshman from last year from Sioux Center, and we just think he has a huge ceiling. Jacob continues to get better practice by practice as we go through it every staff meeting. You see the growth of him and the maturity of him, and we think he's going to be a star in the making, but still making some of those freshman mistakes as we go. And then we moved a young man. Mitch Webster just got moved from linebacker this spring over to tight end and has shown flashes of some really good things. He's aggressive, he's physical, he'll be that Y-off guy for us at times, fullback / tight end role. And I'm excited for this opportunity for Mitch and what that means for him. So collectively, the group is pretty solid.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that. We'll talk defensive backs, running backs, and maybe a captain's announcement coming up this week as well.
Absolutely. Thanks so much,
Yep.
Ryan. Fight on.